Tradespeople's costs are wildly blown out of proportion a lot of the time, I think. When people receive a quote and they see a cost and think, oh, that's really expensive, they must be making an absolute fortune per day, because that must all be going back to them. It's not the case, obviously. In business, you know, most people will know there's a lot involved and there's a lot of costs involved that the tradesperson won't see. And here's just a few examples. The first and most obvious one would be tools. It takes an awful lot of tools and equipment to be able to do the job that we do. From basic hand tools to power tools. So as electricians, test equipment, things for EV charging, thermal imaging cameras, and specific tools required to do the job. They are not cheap and they require upkeep too. Then you have further training, a lot of textbooks, revisions, studying to do, further courses, upgrade courses, R&D. There's so many things that take up time and cost money for us that are required to do our jobs. Another obvious one would be vans and van upkeep. Whether you have one van as a small business or many vans as a larger business, they all require upkeep, whether it be literally diesel on a daily basis or maintenance throughout the year to keep them on the road, keep them running and be able to get to people to be able to do the jobs. And then just listing off a load of other ones that people don't even think about is things like waste management, waste removal. We have a license that we're required to carry waste, so that costs money. You have risk assessments and risk assessment packages, DBS checks that are required to be paid for working in certain areas. There's insurances that are required to be operating as a company, so you have indemnity insurance and liability and employer's liability. We have to be a part of a governing body because it gives us credibility and customers wouldn't use you if you don't have them, but they require a large amount of cost per year, annual assessments that are required to factor in for cost too. And then probably the sheer amount of hours just spent out of working hours, like speaking for myself, many evenings and weekends till late in the evening doing admin, looking up quotes, material costs, anything like that. That small admin stuff that doesn't really get paid for on a daily basis but has to be factored in. And there is a load more too, but obviously I don't want the video to be too long because you could just keep going and going into the tiniest little details. But I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is to realise that it's cheap to run a rubbish company, but it's expensive to run a good one and one that people would want to use. And that's the bottom line when it comes to costing.